Hey everyone, we finally made it to the final book in the New Testament. Now, experience shows that teachers are either freaked out by the book of Revelation or overly excited because everything makes sense. And to be honest, I think those people are exaggerating because there's lots of cryptic things that are unknown in the book of Revelation. The good news is, though, research on Gen Z shows that they're not really looking for a teacher that knows everything or is an expert. Rather, they're looking for a teacher that is willing to be in the mud with them, that is a co-learner. And so this is a good opportunity for you to practice that and to say, hey, this is going to be exciting. I don't know everything. I'm going to say I don't know a lot, but let's dig in and try to figure out some things together. And I, as the teacher, am excited to learn with you. I think students will appreciate your honesty, and you as a teacher will feel less pressure as you're just going to learn and have a great finishing up of the New Testament with your students in a very unique book. I think it's helpful, though, to at the outset, both you and students to know that there's going to be details that are still kind of weird and unclear, but themes is what we're shooting for, and those are found in the curriculum really clearly. I love this. However, many messages in the book of Revelation are simple truths about such things as the roles of Jesus Christ, events surrounding his second coming, the ultimate victory of good over evil, just these themes. And so every lesson in Revelation, just be looking to highlight the themes, the things that are clear. And there's going to be a bunch of other things that are just fun to think about and try to unravel together. This first lesson, though, we're going to practice looking at symbolism and try to get good at trying to see with different eyes. And so the beginning, there's two options. I think if I were to teach, I might actually do both of these. There's an image that I'll talk about, but first of all, maybe an object on a table or chair, and just to show how it's difficult to describe things that we're unfamiliar with, and so we've just got to use words sometimes. And so I went in my garage, I found this. I don't think every student would know what this is. And so I picked something that's maybe sort of familiar, but not super familiar, put it under a sheet or something, and have a student come up and say, you've got to describe this to the class without using the title, even if they know the title of this. This is actually a speed square, in case you're wondering. And so they'd look under and say, okay, it's metal, it's shaped like a triangle, there's images, it's used for, I don't know what it's used for. And just to show that it's difficult to describe things when we're limited. And to say, hey, the book of Revelation is really a lot like this. We've got a revelation where a lot of the descriptions are just symbols and words, and we've got to try to figure out what it's all about. Then, and don't take too long on that. And then I'd maybe do the image idea to say, here's the first image of the book of Revelation. Now, this is, speaking of Gen Z, this is a black and white, not overly exciting picture. So I just did a quick Google search because I thought I would want to find maybe something a little bit more exciting to look at. And you can see there's all kinds of options. You can find one that's, here's the one in the curriculum, but you can see other ideas that are there. Some work, some don't. But I landed on, yeah, I like this one. This is one that I might use. It's more colorful, it's easier to look at. But then just to say, okay, students, let's be honest, what questions do you have? What do you want to know more about from this picture? Like, it means something, but what would you ask? What questions would you ask? So you could say, why are there candlesticks floating in the air? What's in the angels, or this is Jesus, if they want to say, what's in Jesus' hands, or why is he clothed this way? There are some pictures that even have a sword coming out of his mouth idea. So you might want to choose a different image if you like a different image. But just have fun talking about, you should have questions. And then remember that we're looking for themes, and to say out of everything that doesn't make sense, the thing that is in the middle is Jesus. And so we're going to start this lesson with Jesus, and we're going to end this lesson with Jesus. And we will try to also understand some of the things that surround him. But let's start with Jesus. And so our first search is to look at trying to understand, hear and understand this prophecy. So let's try this. 1 through 4, 4 through 8, sorry, look for what these saints know and feel about Jesus. And so let's learn about Jesus. What are some of the phrases that you like to have students mark things in their scriptures, ask them why you think Jesus is referred to this or that. And just we're starting with the center of Jesus. And so whatever image you use, whether it's this or another, you can keep going back to it and say, this is the middle. This is the starting and the end of every lesson in Revelation is to understand the Savior more and his nature and attributes and how he blesses us in our day and age. And so I like that form. We are then going to look at symbols. And so I think you can explore this, and you want to spend time on this because you're going to be doing this every lesson with Revelation, is trying to decipher images and symbols. And so you could I might ask students first, why do you think symbols are such a powerful way of teaching gospel truths? And have them explore that. You could have them ask that question to their neighbor. You can have them talk about it in a group for a minute. You could then even, copy and paste or have a student read this straight from the teacher manual, because this is pretty good. That they help us. It can help people understand different languages, cultures, generations, communicate several different messages, enrich understanding by inspiring ideas, emotions that are difficult to communicate with words alone. And so help students really understand why symbols can be a positive thing. And then say, we're not going to leave your questions alone. You had all these questions about this picture. And so let's give it a shot. So we've got a handout that hopefully is a fun activity where students are going to dig into their scriptures and to find answers in their scriptures. And so you can, I like the idea of doing this in groups. If your class would be better doing it by themselves, or any variety of that, pairs, groups of 3, you could even do it together, but just see if they can discover what some of these symbols mean and then use the image again. And so you can go back and say, let's look at the image. Okay, what did you find? And see if they can remember, instead of just looking at their worksheet to say, what was the answer? Say, hey, do you remember? So what are the candles? What are the stars? What's missing from Jesus's mouth in this painting? And why do you think there was a sword coming? What could that represent? And so this image is going to be used throughout class just as a way to start discussions and involve students in seeing things and then speaking and to experiencing the learning process. Remember, we're going to end with Jesus. We're going to start and end with Jesus. And so as we get to the end of the lesson, make sure you have enough time to highlight the truth that we're really seeking to learn, that all these symbols are pointing to Jesus. And so there's questions here that you can ask. You can reframe them if you'd like to edit them somehow. But how could this have been a blessing to them to have these symbols pointing to Christ then and now? How have these symbols helped you to better understand who the Savior is and what he's like? Even looking at why these candlesticks are stars, how is that helping us attach to qualities, characteristics, attributes of the Savior? But with everything that we don't understand and know, make sure that every lesson you have the opportunity to testify that this is about Jesus and who he is and how we can turn to him for strength and power and ultimate victory. And so I'm excited for you and me as we learn together, but also as we have opportunities to bear testimony of Jesus as we finish the New Testament. Have a wonderful beginning of this. I'm excited for the journey with you.